Good morning, folks. It is the morning of October the 4th, 2021, and I'd like to speak with you a little bit this morning about the enigmatic. The problem of the enigmatic being that people choose, for whatever reason, not to try to delve into the inner meaning of things. One of the fascinating things about the scriptures is that Jesus stated in the New Testament that he spoke in parables. And the parables are metaphors for truths that appear to us to be eternal, because they're a part of our human nature, and therefore they are the things that have always existed. They are the things which define man. They are the things which define our nature. So, in reference to those things and what is happening today, and to a very enigmatic scripture from the revelation of Jesus Christ, so that no one could buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The number is 666. 6 is the biblical number for man, because we were created, according to the Bible story, on the sixth day. Man 3 times refers to our nature, spirit, soul, and body. This man, without whom we couldn't buy and sell, is a very manifestation of what Nietzsche had referred to in his writings about the Übermensch. It is an attempt to recreate man into an image that literally defies human nature. I'm going to read to you what I wrote this morning about that and the current manipulation that is occurring globally under our governing elite. And they're not just the governing elite, they're also the people behind the scenes, the power brokers, those that place people into places of authority. Obviously, many of them are unelected. Some of them, of course, are bureaucrats and diplomats. But there is a global elite, and they're intent on doing some very nasty things, but I'll explain that as I read on here. The authorities will never relinquish the power the pandemic has afforded them willingly. We are living in one enormous Hegelian dialectic, where the actual power brokers have created 2 opposing sides which cannot peaceably coexist, and therefore will live in constant conflict. They have pitted us one against another, so that their plans to dominate and enslave are the only possible outcomes of this conflict. And for the first time in human history, this sort of attack on sanity itself is occurring on a global scale. In the past, any attempt at totalitarian government had been limited to a certain region or area of the planet. This is the first time it's gone global, which is why you're constantly hearing talk about one world order and the global elite and what it is to be a globalist. So I'm delving in to the metaphorical meaning of what it is to be a globalist here. This isn't about climate change or a pandemic. It is about power. The attempt on the part of the power brokers to control humanity itself in order to turn mankind into what Nietzsche referred to as the Übermensch, a superman who could create a value structure which contradicts our very humanity. That's what the parable in the book of the revelation of Jesus Christ is talking about. This man, this superhuman man, without whom No one could buy or sell. You're seeing this today, that people who are refusing to go along with the collective narrative are being disenfranchised and being put out of business, losing their jobs. Happily, and here's the good news, happily such an inhuman feat is doomed to fail, since it's built on one enormous fallacy, namely that it ignores human evolutionary biology and psychology by attempting to turn mankind itself into something that supersedes our human nature. But how much damage will we allow them to do before we become resolved to stop their experiment to create the anti-man? The man who manifests the New Testament story, the meaning behind the New Testament story of the Antichrist. They are trying to create a human being, literally a society of human beings, who can create their own value structure outside of our evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology. The very ideas that are driving the postmodern radical hard left are pathogens. They're deadly pathogens that are aimed in our dehumanization in order to create the very manifestation of the Antichrist. A lot of Bible whacking Bible thumpers believe that it's referring to one person at one time. No, the Bible is a parable that contains truths that are truer than if it were a scientific document. And that is the problem that both the atheists and the thumpers make. The atheists believe that the Bible has to be literally true, as though it were a scientific and historical document, which it's not, because it wasn't written by historians or scientists. And then the Bible thumper makes the same mistake. They believe they have to prove to the atheist that it is a historical and scientific document, which it isn't. It is an incredible parable which manifests the very nature of our humanity and our struggle against the reality of this world. God is reality. You cannot create a world that isn't based on reality. And that's why they're attempting to do things which are unreal. Just look at our Prime Minister. Day by day, he contradicts his own actions. And his actions belie his every word. Okay, continue to listen. Let's get involved in this debate. Share this information with family and friends. We have no choice but to stand up to this tyranny. Have a great day.